All right, we're gonna watch a couple Melee movies. Now, actually, I have a story for you guys. We actually watched one of these videos recently. It was the Prince Abu versus Plup set. And the guy that makes videos for this site actually DM'd me. And he was like, dude, I didn't know that you watched this. Thank you so much. Like, I'm really glad that you did it. And I was like, thanks. I wasn't gonna do any more because I tried to only watch the most popular video on a channel so I don't feel like I'm stealing views. I don't want to, like, watch something that other people could watch. But he DM'd me, he said, no, you can watch whatever you want. I was like, oh, shit, cool. Okay, is it Hanky Panky or is it Michael vs. Bananas? Bananas is way better? Man, I'm influenced.
If you stand on the platforms just right, the CPUs will just sit there. They will wait for you to move before ever moving themselves.
Wait, really?
In a strange act of protest, refusing to interact with you unless you interact with them also.
Is that true?
There is a horrible secret in Melee. The secret is that we are not so different from these poorly coded CPUs. And if you play your cards just right, you'll find that the CPU standstill bug works on people too.
Dude, I know this set. Holy shit.
We will need to understand the fundamental forces that govern the Melee community, and we will need to descend into the bizarre rabbit hole of tournament matches which directly challenge those very fundamental forces altogether. A fighting game's rule set is often the only thing keeping a community from devolving into madness.
I watched this live. I could not believe... even when it happened, everybody in the room popped off. By the way, if you want to see a similar screenshot, this was so fucking funny. This is community-wide PTSD. This is a 4v1 versus Game & Watch. He is like 90 feet in the air, and everybody is sitting under a platform shielding. It's 4v1, and they're still all afraid. It's an entire team of people. Everybody's scared to death.
Underneath the clearly enumerated rules, you'll find gentlemen's agreements, the unwritten rules of Melee. We even sometimes see character-specific gentlemen's agreements. Sheik players may agree to not chain grab each other, in hopes of playing a fun, combo-oriented game instead of a boring, grab-centered one.
Never do that. If you watch the last Brawl video, you know, don't get tricked. Always take the W. Fuck the other guy. You're trying to win money.
And these rules, despite not being rules, absolutely must not be fucked with. Mewtwo is one of the most recognizable players in Melee's history. He is a beloved player known for many things. At Shine 2017, Mewtwo played against Shroomed, another top Sheik player.
Dude, I miss
think it's gonna
Shroom.
be Sheik Dittos. Generally,
I don't watch Melee that often, but he was a nice presence. You know what I mean?
But after going down 2-1, one game away from losing, Mewtwo informed Shroom that he would begin using chain grabs for the remainder of the set, eventually winning. People absolutely lost their minds over this.
I actually have a story like that. A Luigi and a DDD sit down to play. In Brawl, DDD can infinite Luigi. The Luigi player asks the DDD player, are infinites legal at this tournament? The DDD player says, oh, I don't know. I'm not sure. The Luigi player says, okay. The DDD player gets one grab and immediately starts infiniting. The Luigi player is like, what the fuck? He's like, you should have checked the rules.
Sometimes we as players are under the understanding that there are rules that are unspoken. A contract we lock
I'll
ourselves
never
into
forget
when
that.
we plug in our controllers and hit start. Sometimes we assume the simplest idea of a fighting game, the act of fighting and hitting your opponent, is understood between both players. But this isn't always true. In April 2017, he played against Westballs, a player against whom he is undefeated. When they play again 2 months later at Saints Gaming Live, Mewtwo is prepared. Once again, we arrive at a Game 5 situation, but Mewtwo has a plan this time. He will grab the ledge, and he will stay there.
Optimal.
In Melee, a character can grab the ledge and gain a small window of invincibility where their opponent is not able to damage them or knock them away. There's nothing stopping anyone from doing this again and again.
Wait, you can do this in Melee? Forever?
The only thing forcing you to get off the ledge
I
is
didn't know
the
that.
tacit agreement between you and your opponent that you will be playing the same game together.
Wait, really? There's nothing in Melee that stops you. There's a ledge grab limit now. Wow! I knew in Brawl, there was nothing stopping you, but some characters could just make themselves totally unhittable. I thought Melee had ways around this. How'd you not hear about that? I thought the ledge grab limit was like Puff only, because people really hated H-Box. I heard about it, but I thought it was just H-Box, like it was H-Box only. Like H-Box had a whole rule just for him.
Mewtwo knows the ledge is broken, and he is in favor of adding rules which diminish his power. but only for characters he doesn't play.
That's what it was. That's what it was. Look. Puff's, not other characters, only her, is significantly better than other characters. So only Jigglypuff. H-Box only. It is so fucking funny when Melee people try to make rule sets specifically for Jigglypuff when it's just H-Box. Like, just say H-Box. It's not Jigglypuff's. It's one guy.
Westballs has absolutely no idea what to do against Mewtwo King sledge camping. Sometimes you get so mad that you complain about it to a bartender who has no idea what you're talking about.
Go do something that you can't do anything about, which is if you grab the ledge on the stage, you get invincibility.
But being mad doesn't mean
West
that you're immune to
champing.
doing these things yourself. Westballs has been around a long time. He's one of only 22 players to be on every single iteration of the Melee Top 100.
Wow.
At the Big House 4, Westballs is looking dominant versus Armada. He has never beaten Armada, but you wouldn't know it by game 1. Westballs hops up to the top platform and refuses to come down, except with the occasional stray laser.
I saw this set too. I was here. Wait, I was at Big House 4. This is when I got 9th in PM. I should have got 7th. I should have got 5th. Anyway, I was in the room when this happened. It was very funny because he was not engaging. We were all heckling from the side. I was talking shit because Melee players around this time were still doing that whole, like, our game's better. I was like, oh, this is your game. This is your game, huh? Fun.
Armada, the greatest player to ever touch a GameCube controller, absolutely crumbles in the face of this strategy.
Wow, what a
He's
magical
reduced to
game.
pulling turnips and hope that he can pull a Stitch face.
Definitely
A rare
worth
turn,
playing
which
for
does tons of
25
damage.
years.
All Westballs has to do is stay on the top platform until the timer runs out, and since he has more stocks than Armada, it will be his victory. The problem is that the timer is 8 minutes long, and most players find the idea of doing nothing for 8 minutes to be extremely, extremely boring.
Yeah, dude, it's kind of crazy when you think about it. This happened to me too. I tried to time people out in Smash 4 and on Ultimate Online. I can't do it. It sounds so easy in theory. There's something in the human brain that doesn't let you. It's weird.
Westballs, with his incomprehensible lead over Armada, is, at the end of the day, just another Melee player. He finds this just as boring as you or I do. And halfway through game 1, he cracks and starts playing normally again.
Man.
Please don't waste 5 minutes of my time camping the platform, and then the last stock, you're gonna run at the guy?
Westballs played 10 more sets with Armada before
What
the
the
Peach Players
fuck?
retirement in 2018.
What the fuck?
Westballs won just 4 out of the 34 games.
Is that me? PM's over here.
Peach Players retirement
That's not me.
in 2018.
I think I'm standing over here. Oh, I'm right there. That's me. That literally is me. I'm right there. Young Coney? Not really. This was 2014, so I was still 26.
Sometimes you know what you need to do to win, and sometimes you can't bring yourself to it. Sometimes the unwritten rules of Melee are so powerful that they make us actively throw ourselves into the jaws of defeat.
Yeah.
And sometimes winning doesn't even matter. Sometimes there's more to a set than the winner or loser.
That's actually a fascinating topic. Can I be real with you guys for a second? Don't say this is John's because I'm trying to have a conversation. I feel like ever since I stopped competing in tournaments, I don't have the killer instinct anymore. If I'm beating somebody too much or if I'm winning too hard, I'll like run into shit. And it's not like a conscious thought. It's more like, I'm up 3 stocks, you know, I'll fuck around. You know what you should do, and on theory, it's so easy, but nobody actually fucking does it. Ryan said, I think that's actually getting older. No joke. I think it's a side effect of getting older. I think it's not getting older. I think it's not having time to go to events as much because you're older. But then again, maybe the reason I don't practice is because I have different perspectives and different priorities because I'm older. But what happens if somebody doesn't do this? Well, well, well.
Wobbling is the only true infinite combo seen in high-level Melee and is arguably the
Woo!
most controversial
Army!
thing in
Woo!
the whole game. The Ice Climbers grab their
The skill
opponent
zone
and take
chant-
turns
the
hitting them
skill
to
zone
trap
thing
their
is so
opponent
fucking
and
funny.
hit stun indefinitely.
I was told Let's Go Army was a Twitter account made to make wobbling seem more hilarious so that people will legalize it. Really? It's propaganda? Wait, is wobbling banned now? Yes? That's so fucking stupid. It better be? Why? Why? Why should wobbling be banned? There's not even any fucking... The same 5 people win all the tournaments. Why are you gonna ban wobbling? Why are we holding down a fucking mid-tier? You don't play Melee. I don't care. Half those people don't play anymore. True.
In virtually
But that's
every
not
other combo
Wobbling's
in the
fault.
game, there is a pushing
That's
and pulling
Jigglypuff's
between the
fault.
attack. With wobbling, there is no such agency, and the victim is largely reduced to
In
waiting
his
around
favorite
until
game.
the wobble ends.
In his favorite game.
As a result, melee players passionately hate getting
I knew
wobbled.
it. I knew it.
Often enough so that they're willing to stomach using the most detested strategies in melee to avoid it. Muty King struggles against the Ice Climbers, and really just wishes they didn't exist. In a set versus wall.
If you have never seen this before, if you haven't been on Twitter, if you don't know Smash, I'm about to bestow upon you one of the greatest gifts on the internet. Sad Mewtwo King. He's so sad.
In a set versus Wobbles, he will camp the Ice Climbers in 2 different ways across 2 different
Oh.
characters. At the end of the set, Wobbles grabs Mewtwo King on the shoulder and tells him, "It's fine if you play that way, but if you ever complain about wobbling again, you are a giant hypocrite." See, this set perfectly captures the 2 dipoles of the wobbling debate. Historically speaking, the wobbling debate was a power struggle between 3 factions of the community: the pro-wobbling party, the pro-ban
me.
party, and the I don't care party.
I'm pro wobbling.
For years, these 3 groups enjoyed a relatively stable power balance, with the large cohort of centrists making it impossible for one group to get the advantage over the other. That is, until a beloved top 10 player got his ass kicked by an unranked New Jersey Ice Climbers
no,
player,
not
and then took to
Axe.
social
You
media
can't
and
beat
supported banning the
Axe.
technique.
He's the fucking golden boy. You can't beat Axe with that. Oh, no. Pudgy Panda should have thrown that for his character. Axe is America's sweetheart.
Fair party gradually
Fuck!
vanished as they began to be radicalized towards one extreme or the
You
other.
can't do
A
that.
state of affairs
You can't
obviously
do that.
unlike anything happening in American current events.
He cooked
The
the
insidious
golden
thing about
goose.
this newly emerging 2-party system is that the figureheads for each party were, of course, acting almost entirely out of self-interest. If you want a wobbling band, you were clearly a scrub who wanted to place artificial restrictions on how the game should be played, just like Dave Serlin wrote in Chapter 3 of Playing to Win. If you want a wobbling legal, you were obviously a scrub who wasn't even willing to soft pan a technique that would make the game significantly better, just like Dave Serlin wrote in Chapter 6 of Playing to Win.
Dude, the Serlin posting was so fucking rampant at that time. At this point in Smash history, people would Serlin post so fucking much. All they would do is just over and over talk about how, like, you're this kind of player, you're that kind of player. We should look at Dave Serlin. What does his book say? It was so obnoxious. When we moved from Smashboards to Twitter, shit got bad for a while. Especially about rule set discussion. Rule set discussion gets weird, dude.
This all came to a head at Battle of BC3, an early tournament experimenting with the idea of reverting back to the old days and banning wobbling. One of the best players in British Columbia was himself an Ice Climbers player named Fohibro, and he was furious. He showed up at the event wearing a
laugh at
custom
icons.
t-shirt with the phrase "Free Foe" on it, a plea to the organizers to let him wobble his opponents. Fohibro was a man on a mission, and it isn't a stretch to say that he had what was likely his best tournament ever at this event, even without wobbling.
He's letting me wobble.
But it all came to a grinding halt once he ran into Chango, a Jigglypuff player active in Mexico and Washington. In their set, Chango adopts a straightforward strategy. Step 1, build a percentage lead. Step 2, stay really, really far away.
Yep.
There is no step 3. But when Chango reaches step 2, Fohibro does not know what to do. And so, he does nothing.
You know what's crazy? This had to have been like first place at this tournament. Probably won like $200. You had to beat so many good people, and this is just not even close to being at the top.
Game 5, he just gives up altogether. Chango has successfully set up the CPU standstill glitch on a human opponent. But within Super Smash Bros., this set genuinely could have had broader implications beyond a winner and a loser.
Yeah.
At multiple points in the history of Super Smash Bros., players have taken it upon themselves to use their own gameplay to point out the flaws of the rule set. Congo Jungle was a popular stage that players played until Pink Shinobi camped Rock Croc in a single game at Genesis 1.
A lot of you probably don't know about this. This game was so fucking influential. This stage used to be legal in Melee, and Pink Shinobi literally did not fight him, ever. He just stood on these 2 platforms and ran away. And it's not really because he didn't want to fight him, it was to make a point, make a statement. This actually happened in Smash 4, too. In Smash 4, there was a very famous set at one of the Genesises. Zero played Salem, and Salem played Bayonetta on Duck Hunt. and he just stood on the tree. And after that, duck hunt was banned. So it's really weird. Like, that happens pretty regularly. Still waiting for the Lilat ban. Lilat is fine. I don't have a problem with Lilat. I'm sick of players bitching about it. Just turn it off. I see 90% of people bitching about Lilat and 10% of people saying, it's fine, it should be on. But they never pick it. And maybe that's just because it's banned by people. I don't know. But if it's being banned that much, I don't want to see it. Turn it off.
With all the pieces assembled, we can finally bring our attention to the rivalry at the end of the universe. Michael and Bananas, a Chicago Puff player and a Texas Ice Climbers player. Our story begins at the National Melee Arcadian, a tournament which barred any players ranked in the top 100 from entering.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that existed. That's neat.
Their set would be played off-stream, at both players' request, so the only footage that remains is cell phone captures of the massive crowd the set drew. It was this set which drew national attention to Michael as the embodiment of what people feared in Melee. A Jigglypuff player with an unwavering focus on preventing his opponent from playing the game in any capacity.
Yeah.
By the time they played again at Don't Park on the Grass in late 2018, a lot had changed. Michael had continued his upward ascent with modest placings and was rewarded by debuting in the top 50 of the summer.
Damn, let's go, Michael!
Bananas, however, was on a different level entirely. Since his loss to Michael, Bananas became a premier top player with wins over S2J, None, Fiction.
Damn, let's go Bananas!
Even top 5. A month later, he would make history and become the highest debut on a top 100 ever.
19?
9 months after they played their first set, they meet again in a ballroom on the University of Washington's campus.
Damn.
It was here where Melee would face its hardest test, one where all the darkest forces in Melee would meet at the same time.
That's a funny tweet.
You might be fooled into thinking that Melee is a game with two outcomes, winning and losing.
Shoutouts to Rishi, by the way. Rishi's great.
This is not the case. There is a third, much rarer option. It is possible for both players to be disqualified.
What?
Bananas thinks to himself, if he won't approach me, then I won't approach him. If we never approach each other, eventually a TO will have to step in and DQ the both of us. And since Michael is winning, surely he wouldn't want that.
No way! I've never seen that. I've played Smash. I've been in Smash for like 12 years. I've never seen that. That's the bad ending. How do you get that? Oh no. Oh no. No way. Oh no. Oh no. No! Fight! You have to fight! Oh man.
A TO walks
they
over
both won.
and demands that they fight during the one-stock tiebreaker that happens in tied timeout situations. Bananas has done the impossible. He has forced a player who is winning to approach him instead of approaching himself. His plan has succeeded.
We're gonna have to make a new fucking rule because of this hack.
Michael wins the tiebreaker anyways, and goes on to win the set 3-0.
Man. So they didn't both DQ. Who is it?
6 days later, Michael will lose to Boyd, an Ice Climbers player from Ohio.
Oh, I don't know
It's just that
Boyd.
nobody wanted to watch it. It's the sort of thing you see once in a lifetime, like the Smash equivalent of watching Bartolo Colon hit a home run in slow motion. It's a 5-game set that lasts almost 40 minutes.
Oh my god.
2 of the games time out, and 2 others would have timed out had Boyd not thrown himself off stage to concede right before the timer ran out.
Dude.
Somehow, Boyd manages to find 3 wobbles in Game 5 to win the set. It
That's
may have been
funny.
the single most amazing upset that happened through the entirety of 2019, and only 600-something people decided to watch the set.
Wow.
Not a single goddamn thing about this video game makes any sense. Most players just want to win in their own way, and winning in Melee is typically more about validating your worldview than it is about capturing the glory of victory or whatever.
That's true.
Melee is probably less fun than we all think it is, but that's okay, because the vast majority of Melee players are just playing the version of Melee that they wish Melee was. Paying attention to the cracks in this facade is when you end up seeing stuff like Chudat deliberately killing himself against Hungrybox so he could get his Nana back. Melee players talk big about how expressive their game is, but they're more right than they realize. The game couldn't possibly capture a person's personality if boring people did not have an avenue to be their boring selves. It wouldn't be self-expression if everyone was forced to act cooler than they really were. The fact that these moments have happened in the game's history, but are astonishingly rare, says far more about people than it does about the game.
I think that's
Because
true.
from the very beginning, the rule set was just an arbitrary subset of the game that we decided was the most fun. In any other competitive game, these things would just be patched in or out based on the developer's will. But for us, we get to decide these things for ourselves.
Which kind of fucking sucks. I mean, I know the direction this is going, and I get what they're saying, but I remember working at my day job, and I saw everybody hate on HBox for how he played, and I thought the Melee community was so fucking corny. Because Melee would do this thing where they absolutely hated HBox because he played slow. There is one person in the world who's able to do what HBox does, and yet everybody in Melee wanted to say he was killing the game, that he was so lame, that he should play better, he should play like, it was so fucking corny. I just, like, I remember seeing that. And there's just like thousands and thousands of Fox players that trick themselves into thinking they're smarter than they are because they hit more buttons. The idea of Melee that has been built up in Melee players' heads is a fucking lie. The game is what you make it, which is, I think, what this video is sort of going toward. And I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with, like, cool play or cool players who do cool shit. It's so weird how Melee fans in general have this idea of the game that transcends what it truly is. The idea of Melee has become a monolith. Well, yeah, the idea of Melee is the monolith, and Mango is like he is the deity. And again, I don't have a problem with that. Mango is really fun to watch. He's great, and he embodies the spirit of the game. But he's not the whole game. Because you know who else is in the game? Jigglypuff and Ice Climbers. But Melee players don't want that because it makes the game seem less sick than it is.
What your main says about you tweets are always the most biased shit ever and cringe as fuck.
Those are always for children. The what your main says about you are actually for kids, and that's fine. But it's when adults believe in it. That's what's weird.